The Existential Crisis Hotline. The Existential Crisis Hotline. The Existential Crisis Hotline. The Existential Crisis Hotline. The Existential Crisis Hotline.
Hello, hello. Woo. I just ate a burger and a half. Like literally right before I came over. Homemade burgers from cows, or from meat from our own cow. Homemade buns. Homemade fries, although we bought the potatoes. We have potatoes coming in though. We haven't harvested them yet. Homemade feta on the burger. The bacon was store-bought, but I am in the process of curing some more bacon from our own pigs. And let's see what else. And washed it all down with some delicious milk from our cow. So I'm quite full. But I got a new book in the mail. You can't see what it is, can you? Guess. Can you guess what it is? No, you cannot. You cannot guess. You'll never guess. Maybe you might. The other night we were talking about that Deleuze and Guattari book, Anti-Oedipus. And in it they talk about this guy. They call him Judge Schreiber. His name is Daniel Paul Schreiber. And apparently he was like one of the major case studies that Freud and others developed and commented on, developed like psychoanalysis, not purely from this, but it was like one of the major points that they used. Oh, I just realized I left the AC on. Let me go turn it off so it's not making noise. I mean, it just stopped, but let me stop it from doing that again. I'll be right back. All right. So anyways, we talked about, I think we looked him up on Wikipedia. It says, in 1884, the distinguished German jurist, Daniel Paul Schreiber, suffered the first of a series of mental collapses that would afflict him for the rest of his life. In his madness, the world was revealed to him as an enormous architecture of nerves dominated by a predatory god. It became clear to Schreiber that his personal crisis was implicated in what he called a crisis in God's realm. One that had transformed the rest of humanity into a race of phantasms, there was only one remedy, as his doctor noted. Schreiber considered himself chosen to redeem the world and to restore it to the lost state of blessedness. This, however, he could only do by first being transformed from a man into a woman. So that's pretty interesting. I haven't read any of it yet. I just got it out of the mail like right before dinner. I'm just kind of looking through it. Looks pretty interesting. It's pretty long. Should be pretty interesting. Yeah, transformed. Exactly. It's called Memoirs of My Nervous Illness. I'm just looking to see. Compulsive Thinking, Its Effects and Manifestation, 197. That looks interesting. In the previous chapters, I described the changes in my outward life during the past years and the forms the battle of annihilation assumed which divine rays led against me. I will now add some more about the forms, also vastly changed, of the constant compulsive thinking. Compulsive thinking has been defined in Chapter 5 as having to think continually. This contravenes man's natural right of mental relaxation, of temporary rest from mental activity through thinking nothing. Or as the expression goes in the basic language, it disturbs the basis of a human being. Was this guy crazy? I mean, now I see even more like why why Deleuze and Guattari were so specific about the idea of schizophrenia being some sort of a way of breaking through the normal mode of like the system that we live in, capitalism. But anyway, so my nerves are influenced by the rays to vibrate corresponding to certain human words. Their choice, therefore, is not subject to my own will, but is due to an influence exerted on me from without. From the beginning, the system of not finishing a sentence prevailed. That is to say, the vibrations caused in my nerves and the words so produced contain not mainly finished thoughts, but unfinished ideas or only fragments of ideas, which my nerves have to supplement to make up the sense. It is in the nature of nerves that if unconnected words or started phrases are thrown into them, they automatically attempt to complete them to finished thoughts satisfactory to the human mind. This is cool. It's like a whole theology. Blessedness and voluptuousness. Blessedness and voluptuousness in their mutual relation. Consequences of this relation for personal behavior. I have hardly attempted to adduce factual proof of the reality of the miracles which I assert happened, nor of the truth of my religious ideas, quite apart from the frequently mentioned states of bellowing. It's almost some kind of supernatural things that happen to him when he would wake up in the morning. A great deal of proof is provided by the condition of my body, which on examination shows recognizable feminine characteristics convincing to everybody. I will therefore use this chapter to discuss the subject particularly. I will preface it with the information. Okay. It is, of course, far from my purpose to wish to convince other people by means of a reasoned argument of the truth of my so-called delusions and hallucinations. I am fully aware that at the present moment this would be possible only to a very limited extent. Whether in days to come a transformation of my body altogether beyond the sphere of human experience will not in itself furnish proof, the future alone can decide. There is only one point I wish to explain now, that I would at all times be prepared to submit my body to medical examination for ascertaining whether my assertion is correct, that my whole body is filled with nerves of voluptuousness, from the top of my head to the soles of my feet, such as is the case only in the adult female body, whereas in the case of a man, as far as I know, nerves of voluptuousness are only found in and immediately around the sexual organs. This is some interesting stuff, man. He's talking about miracles. Interesting. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah, I finished Damon by Daniel Suarez last night. Don't mind the UFOs flying by the screen, by the way. They kind of pop in and out. Anyways, I finished Damon, and wow. What a roller coaster. That's a really intense book. And I won't spoil it. But the ending, you're like, what the fuck? And then I started the next book in this. It's like a, what's the word for something that's not 3 books but 2? A duology? I don't know. It's 2 books. So Damon and then Freedom. And so I started that one, and it's pretty good so far too. But enough about that. Enough about my reading books. I would like to look at the news, the big story. UFOs. So the first release of UFO information from the government, I have not looked at it. I've seen some people posting some things. Nothing that interesting. But before we get to that, guess what? Not that. That is the wrong window. Let me remove that. I have the wrong one up. Let's see here. Window capture. What am I using? Chrome. There's a new crop circle. May 8th. Jack's Castle Plantation. I don't like the music, but look at that. A brand new crop circle. I mean, could it be hoaxers? I suppose, but damn. That's pretty intricate. I mean, look at the patterning on it. That's pretty crazy. Look at that. Wow. Interesting. Right by a castle. It's so weird. That's pretty crazy. I mean, look at that. It's like, just to the eye anyways, it looks pretty symmetric. What do you think it means? Weird. All right, and then let me. Spoiler alert. Newly declassified FBI documents suggest Nazi Germany secretly developed saucer-shaped craft capable of hovering in the air. Yeah, what are the odds exactly? Oh, is it today? Today's the 8th? Damn. 13 hours ago. Okay, it must have been put up like right away. I mean, I don't know how we know it's real, but, you know. They used some drones. Looks real to me. Pretty crazy. So, now we're getting into the Nazis. We're developing UFOs. UFO technology. Remember Jason Giorgiani? I know, right? Nazi aliens. Why do the Nazis make crop circles? Okay, this looked interesting. I haven't listened to it. It's 3 minutes.
There's this big debate about whether we actually initially went to the moon perfectly on time with Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin. Do you think that we went to the moon in 1969?
実際行ったかっていう。はい。もちろん行ってます。
And then, do you think there's anything we don't understand about that story? Did they see UFOs along the way? Because
UFO を見たのは間違いないです。
why are you sure?
僕
He said they saw a UFO. I don't know if you can see it very well. Let me make it bigger. They saw a UFO.
たのは間違いないです。
Why are you sure?
僕アポロ17号のキャプテンのジン・サーナン船長の、と仲良くて自宅行って一緒に食事したりとか外でも食事したりとかしたことあって、ある質問したことあるんですね。どうしてアポロは17号で終焉を迎えたんでしょうか。でもその頃にはもう18号19号作られてるんですね。なのにどうして17号でやめたんでしょうか。本当の理由を知りたいんですって聞いたんです。
Why did they stop with 17?
そしたら、彼の答えは二度と来るなと言われたって。
Really?
ええ、これイヤホンじゃないですよ。こう脳に直接語りかけてきたって。
Mental download. Never come back again. And were any reasons for not coming back again that they cited?
頼むから、地球人類を邪魔をしないでくれって言われた。
Why?
私たちの研究なりを邪魔をしないでくれ。私たちの活動の邪魔をしないでくれって言われた。例えて言うとですね、私たちが何か実験室で実験をしていると、猿がいっぱい実験室に入ってきたら頼むから出て行きなさいって言うでしょ。あれと同じことです。
So do you think the extraterrestrials were using the moon as a way to research the Earth?
38万キロ離れた月からもうすでに観察はしてますし、あれは人工的に作られたものだと僕は思ってます。月自体が。で、あそこからずっとこう観察をしているか、あるいは彼らが必要なものをこう取り出したりはしてると思うんですね。で、非常にこう大事な場所だとは考えてます。で、自然にできたものじゃなくて人為的にって彼らが意図して作ったものだと僕は考えてるんですね。
Did you ever ask Eugene Cernan, why don't you go public with this information?
彼が自分が亡くなってからこのことは話していいよということを言われたり、僕は彼から実は画像をもらったんですね。キャプテンが月の裏側を通過するときに一体何を見たんですかっていう質問をしたときに、構造物を見たと言われたんです。その構造物の一部の写真を僕もらったんです。興味がもしあるんだったらうちのお寺にありますから後でお見せします。
Yeah, the artificial constructions? You can show me those?
Yes.
You have photos?
Yes.
Oh, I'd love to see. That's amazing.
Maybe put that part in the video. This person says, I was on a Zoom call with an Apollo astronaut just before he died, who had photos and said pretty much the same thing. He showed images of transparent tall buildings and also said the moon rang like a bell. Well, we already know that. Interesting. Oops. Interesting. They were like, go away. We're trying to help you guys. Yeah. Definitely not control the reincarnation cycle or anything. Nah, we're not doing that. Go away. Eugene Cernan. I was just trying to find out if it said he learned Japanese at any point. Interesting. Okay, so there's this other website. It said if you want to see other historical UAP records, visit this website, arrow.mil. But I haven't even seen this before. But here's the website that they published today in the morning. war.gov/UFO. I like how they're calling it UFO on the website, or the URL, even though they refer to them as UAPs. Presidential Unsealing and Reporting System for UAP Encounters. Pursue. Oh, that's a cool name. Pretty cool website. Department of War release date 161 files. These flies, man. Orbs launching orbs. What is this? Is this just one file? Oh wow. Hold on. So hold on. What is this though? Why is this showing me one file? Oh, I see what's going on. I forgot I had clicked on number 17. Okay. Well, they got some highlights here. So there's that. These are all from 2025. Okay. Rendered graphic overlay depicting corroborating eyewitness reports from September 2023. That's some high-tech rendering there. Archival imagery from the Apollo 17 mission to the moon. Weren't they just talking about that? The yellow box contains an enlarged area of the original photo in which 3 lights are visible above the lunar terrain. Huh. There's some little ball there featuring a UAP. These are just pictures at the moment. Wait, what did that say? UAE. A UAP in the UAE. Okay, so it's a lot of pictures like that. What's this? FBI's case file. John Edgar Hoover. I am a member of NICAP and I'm very much interested in UFOs. Okay. Flying Saucer Convention. This is like this is an FBI file. It is interesting they're like putting all this together in a file though. Okay, that's not very interesting though. Jeez. Gemini 7 transcript. I wonder what that's about. Gemini 7. Here, Houston, how do you read? Clear, loud and clear, 7, go ahead. A bogey at 10 o'clock high. This is Houston. Say again, 7. I said we have a bogey at 10 o'clock high. Is that the booster or is that a natural sighting? A what? Say again, 7. We have debris up here. This is an actual sighting. You have any more information, estimated distance or size? We also have the booster in sight. It looks like hundreds of little particles going by to the left, about 3 or 4 miles. It looks like a path of the vehicle at 90 degrees. It's a brilliant body in the sun against a black background with trillions of particles in it. There's the handwritten. Okay, that's weird. Yeah, a bunch of nothing burgers, exactly. I think you're probably right, but you know, the story that they're saying is that
Jimmy Control here again. Earlier in the flight, you'll recall at the start of the second revolution, we had a reference to several objects that the crew spotted. This was in the area of Antigua. Due to a mechanical breakdown, we did not have that portion of the tape available for you. This was a line breakdown between Building 30 and our news center in Building 6. Since then, we have dubbed a tape off the master tape here in the control center, and we are now prepared to play it for you. It contains references to sighting not only some particles, but as well as an unidentified object, plus the booster. Here's that tape. We'll play it for you now.
Gemini 7 here, Houston, out of your 8.
Loud and clear. 7, go ahead.
Bogey at 10 o'clock high.
This is Houston. Say again, 7.
So we have a bogey at 10 o'clock high.
Roger. Gemini 7, is that the booster or is that an actual sighting?
What?
Say again, 7.
Okay, we have several, looks like debris up here, actual sighting.
You have any more information, estimated distance or size?
But we also have the booster in sight.
Understand you also have the booster in sight, Roger.
And we have very many, looks like hundreds of little particles going by to the left out about 3 to 4 miles.
Understand you have many small particles going by on the left. At what distance?
4 miles. Large, looks like perhaps a vehicle that's disintegrated.
Roger, understand they're about 3 to 4 miles away.
They're past now, they're going to polar orbit.
Roger, and understand they were about 3 to 4 miles away.
Try the pier line. Or further.
Roger. Gemini 7, Houston, were these particles in addition to the booster and the bogey at 10 o'clock high? Roger.
7, this is, Houston, this is 7.
Go ahead.
I have the booster on my side as a brilliant body in the sun against a black background and with billions of particles around it.
Roger, what direction is it from you?
okay, so it's basically just the transcript. Weird. What is this? Foo Fighters. Now, this is from the 40s. I mean, there's a band called Foo Fighters, so obviously we already know about this. Pilots report the following. An aluminum-colored cylinder-shaped object about 12 feet long and 1 foot in diameter was observed floating in the air at 9,000 feet. It appeared to be suspended vertically with small fins and a mast projecting from the lower end. This object was attacked and partially deflated. A red flame resulted without smoke. The cylinder did not disintegrate. The hell? The box incident. Identified flying objects. 1963. Now these are later, 2020s. Mission report Middle East. Observed a possible UAP in its FOV-IVO. Okay. So these are like probably a bunch of reports. I guess it just explains it here. U.S. military operator reported observing 5X UAP fly across the screen. The report continues describing one of these observations as a possible missile and the remaining 4 as possible birds. Oh. Cool. A possible balloon. Okay. Greece. UAP was only visible when viewed via onboard shortwave infrared. (2020) the hell? A range Fowler debrief form. U.S. military operator reported an encounter with a group of 3 unidentified small air contacts over the North Arabian Sea. Described the UAP as having wing and airframe structure and initially bearing on a westerly heading. Jeez, the Strait of Hormuz. They reported seeing a UAP. That's a lot of that. FBI photo. Incident date late 2025. Okay, this is some of those pictures. Just a lot of pictures like that. NASA UAP Apollo 12. Oh wow. Huh. More of them. They never told us about any of this shit before. That's weird. That's definitely the first time I'm hearing about them seeing... What? That's pretty interesting, though. Oh boy. No, that's that one. Summary of events. Summary of statements by 7 U.S. persons employed by the federal government who separately reported observing several anomalous phenomena. Orbs launching other orbs. Observing a large stationary glowing orb at close estimated range. Pursuing a large phenomenon near the ground. Observing a large, seemingly transparent phenomenon. Yeah, orbology. That was in 2022. Resolved as birds. What could those possibly be? What could those be? Look at how they move in a flock-like formation. Almost like a V shape. With the individual units moving as one. What kind of intelligence could possibly coordinate such activity? Well, that was a bit underwhelming. I saw something about Burchett saying what the fuck is that? That's got to be just like some AI video. Confirmed clickbait. It's so obviously AI. That's the problem now. Damn. We'll never know. UFO files reveal jaw-dropping claim. Where? Where is that in there? I didn't see it. Of course, I skipped most of them. Yeah, exactly. They'll believe all the miracles, but they'll say this is fake. Huh. Okay, so here's what Burchett's saying, apparently.
I want to warn people, though, this early stuff that we're seeing is not all of it. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. But Trump's having to fight, he's having to fight the deep state. And it's just, and the next files will be tougher to get, but I suspect he'll get them because he is Trump. He knows how to work this thing. And until that day comes, though, there's still going to be more and more, and there's going to be more questions. I want to warn people, though.
All right. Yeah, this was another one. I saw this one too, and I was like, it's clearly got like smoke coming out of it. Like, come on, that's not a UAP. Oh, there's a parachute. Interesting. And they're saying that like that shape is just like lens flare on the camera, which makes that. I mean, like if you, I don't know if everybody experiences this, but I think I have a slight like astigmatism in my eyes because whenever I use like a red dot on like a rifle scope, it looks like that basically. It looks like a little star, like all kind of moving around. It's not like a tight dot. Oops. Oh, that's cool. Oh yeah, I saw this really cool robot thing. I think I shared it with somebody. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, here it is. This thing is crazy. Look at this. Those are robot hands. I would guess eventually they can build the data centers. Look at that. He's more efficient with the damn electrical tape than I am. Mine always looks like this big giant like... It's pretty cool. Why the fuck does it need nails? Yeah, seriously, why does it have nails? That is weird. I don't think they're nails. I think it's just where the skin is like tight. I don't know. It does actually look like nails though. That is kind of weird. That is very weird. Dude, that's crazy. That is crazy. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I think just because they released that doesn't really debunk Representative Burleson or Tim Burch or any of these people, because that's just what they chose to release first. And I don't know. Maybe there's more stuff coming. I don't know. I have no idea. 10 decades of cover-ups, all collapsing. I mean, it's kind of underwhelming. Although, I gotta admit, that is kind of weird that they look like fluid of some sort. Not to me, they look like pieces of something, Roger. They're very bright. Bob, for the most part, these fragments are not, or are tumbling at a very slow rate. So they definitely saw some weird stuff on the moon, I guess. After the brightness of the fireball decreased, I could look back up through the rendezvous window and see what to me was kind of like a tunnel with a bright spot in the middle of the tunnel. Way down the tunnel, way back behind, I could see the fireball. Air Cernan. The only unusual sighting I can recall during landing or recovery is when the CMP looked out the window and saw the superstructure of an aircraft carrier and said, "Oh, we've got a tin can with us." What? So weird. Let's see what she says.
Okay, we need to talk about the newly released Apollo-era documents from the White House and how all of them have been public for like 50 years.
What?
This image from Apollo 12 is from magazine Y Image 6847. It's been available for years.
I didn't know
The
about that.
mention of a bogey on Gemini 7 is literally mentioned in the official NASA history that came out in 1977.
What?
Apollo 17 reporting a bunch of bright particles. It was right during transposition and docking when they broke away from the S-4B stage to recover the lunar module that was stored in there, and there was a lot of debris flying around. Lunar module pilot Jack Schmidt says it looks like the 4th of July out Ron's window. Then they took 7 pictures of the debris. If you want to look at them, it's magazine NN, and the pictures start around 22672. And there's even this amazing picture of the lunar module still in the S-4B with those particles floating around, showing you that it's debris from separation. This has been public for years. Every Apollo era transcript and technical debrief and scientific paper has been available for decades. I have read every Apollo mission transcript and have all of the audio. You can just download it. How do you think I just made a 2.5-hour documentary about Apollo 13 using all of the video and the audio? This stuff is already out there. It's not new.
Interesting. Well, they got... What the hell is that? They got our attention about it. Jason Giorgiani says, the most important disclosure to emerge from today's UFO file release is that the Nazis invented the flying saucer. This FBI file describes exactly the prototype I described in Closer Encounters. Oh, what? I didn't get the hardcover. Mine just looks like that green one. It's like a soft cover, though. And it gets weird. UFO files just drop and it gets weird fast. Reports of 3-foot and 4-foot beings, shiny suits and bodies recovered. Now Congress says the real holy crap hasn't dropped. Dude, what is this weird theater that we are witnessing? What in the hell? Okay. Squirt your wiener with a weird nipple. That was very strange. Oh, okay, I know what I want to look at. There was something I was going to look at yesterday, but then we just didn't get to it. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Give me a second. Maybe it was on Firefox. That's probably the issue. Come on, Firefox. What's going on? Here we go. Oh, no. Hold on. I got to put the window on. Firefox. Let me mute that one. I'm trying to click the X on my OBS. Okay, that's not going to work. All right. Artists with mental illness. There's a fine line between madness and genius. Let me zoom in a little bit. We can never know for certain where creativity comes from. Some creatives claim that creativity is the work of a genie or some sort of deity that whispers in the ears of those who would listen. Some claim it is a gift embedded in one's DNA. Okay, anyways. Vincent van Gogh. What was his deal? He was just depressed, basically. Huh. Is that true? He created Starry Night while he was like in a mental institution? I mean, it's pretty cool. I like the sunflower ones he did. All right, now this is interesting. Louis Wayne. Intelligence in the cat is underrated. Louis Wayne is an obscure artist who painted cats doing mundane things like smoking or enjoying dinner at a restaurant. He is most known, however, for being an artist, the artist who suffered from schizophrenia, and he believed that his paintings were a manifestation of his disorder. His paintings decorate psychology books showing how his style developed as his illness progressed. The cute cats transformed into psychedelic and abstract demons as he battled with his illness. Okay, so we've got some little cats. Had a little picnic with some milk, maybe some tea. They're playing some, I don't know, what are they playing? Badminton or no? What is that? What's the word I'm looking for? Cricket. He's playing tennis. This guy's playing a little bit of bocce or something down here. Okay, that's cute. His obsession with painting cats started when Lewis was married to Emily Richardson, who suffered and died from cancer. Lewis noticed that while she suffered from illness, their cat brought whatever little joy a living thing can bring to a dying person's life. He started painting cats to cheer her up, and she urged him to publish them. Oh. Damn. Yeah, that escalated. Lewis Wayne. The Kaleidoscope of Cats. This cat's covered in leaves. Santa cat with a, I don't know, what is that, a Jesus cat? Yeah. Toxic plasmosis. Damn, look at that. That's it? I want to see, like... Damn. Psychedelic cat paintings. Damn. Looks like decorated with cats all around it. That's pretty cool, actually. Like the blue and the green and all that. Interesting. Lewis Wayne. Edvard Munch. Sickness, insanity, and death were the angels that surrounded my cradle, and they have followed me throughout my life. Jeez. So he was depressed. By the deathbed. Death in the sick room. The sick child. Jeez, dude. I mean, everyone's seen, like, The Scream before, but... His childhood was overshadowed by illness, bereavement, and the dread of inheriting a mental condition that ran in the family. nihilist Hans Jaeger urged him to paint his own emotional and psychological state. The scream was conceived in Christiania. According to Munch, he was out walking at sunset when he heard the enormous infinite scream of nature. Dang. The painting's agonized face is widely identified with the angst of the modern person. Well, where is it? Is that it? That's what it looks like? That can't be it. That's it? That's the actual painting? What? Okay, this, yeah. Oil, tempera, and pastel. Why is that a good painting? I guess I don't know that much about art. I mean, I can't say it's bad, like, you know, it's like they know what they're doing, but that's weird. The agonized face in the painting has become one of the most iconic images in art, seen as representing a profound experience of existential dread related to the human condition. He had been out walking at sunset when suddenly the setting sun's light turned the clouds a blood red. He sensed an infinite scream passing through nature. This guy was in his fucking mind, dude. Scholars have... okay. I was walking along the road with two friends. The sun was setting. Suddenly the sky turned blood red. I paused, feeling exhausted, and leaned on the fence. There was blood and tongues of fire above the blue-black fjord and the city. My friends walked on, and I stood there trembling with anxiety, and I sensed an infinite scream passing through nature. Wow. Wow. It sold for $120 million in 2012. That's crazy. And I don't remember this part. I guess I'd forgotten about that. In Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep by Philip K. Dick, the main character and his partner, Phil Resch, view the painting in an art gallery. Resch comments that the painting reminds him of how he imagines androids feel. Huh. The most painful condition in existence, trigeminal neuralgia, or Fothergill disease, tic douloureux, or trifacial neuralgia, a long-term pain disorder that affects the trigeminal nerve. Where's the trigeminal nerve? Well, that's not helpful. Don't see it on there. The nerve responsible for sensation in the face and motor functions such as biting and chewing. This is a form of neuropathic pain. The typical form results in episodes of severe, sudden shock-like pain in one side of the face that lasts for seconds to a few minutes. Episodes of severe facial pain along the trigeminal nerve divisions. Jeez. People often describe a trigger area on the face so sensitive that touching or even air currents can trigger an episode. But in many people, the pain is generated spontaneously without any apparent stimulation. It can be triggered by common activities such as eating, talking, shaving, and brushing teeth. The wind, chewing, and talking can aggravate the condition. The attacks are said by those affected to feel like stabbing electric shocks. Burning, sharp, pressing, crushing, exploding, or shooting pain that becomes intractable. Jeez. Why did God create that? Or was it all because of Adam? Adam and Steve. Okay, Edvard Munch. Richard Dad. Dick Dad. I had such ideas that had I spoken of them openly, I must, if answered in the world's fashion, been told I was unreasonable. Okay, this looks interesting. Yeah, I think it's like money laundering. Or, no, maybe that's the wrong way to say it. It's like, I don't know, like a way of storing money, basically. So yeah, kind of like baseball cards. Same idea. It's like you buy it because you know it's going to be more valuable later. Richard Dad was an English painter of the Victorian era, noted for his depictions of fairies and other supernatural subjects, Orientalist scenes, and enigmatic genre scenes, rendered with obsessively minuscule detail. Okay. That's cool. So in November 1842, they spent a grueling 2 weeks in southern Syria, passing from Jerusalem to Jordan. Toward the end of December, while traveling up the Nile by boat, Dad underwent a dramatic personality change, becoming delusional, increasingly violent, and believing himself to be under the influence of the Egyptian god Osiris. His condition was initially thought to be sunstroke. On his return to England in 1843, he was diagnosed to be of unsound mind and was taken by his family to recuperate. In August of that year, having become convinced that his father was the devil in disguise, Dad killed him with a knife and fled to France. Damn! En route to Paris, Dad attempted to kill a fellow pastor with a razor, but was overpowered and arrested. He confessed to killing his father, was returned to England, committed to criminal department of Bethlehem Psychiatric Hospital. Ironic, right? There, and subsequently at the newly... Okay. He probably was a paranoid schizophrenic. Also dating from the 1850s are 33 watercolor drawings entitled Sketches to Illustrate the Passions, which include grief or sorrow, love, and jealousy, as well as the agony, raving, madness, and murder. Damn. Freddie Mercury was inspired to write the song The Fairy Feller's Master Stroke. Really? pretty interesting. The Fairy Feller's Masterstroke. Is it on this album or what? The fantasy-based lyrics. Elimination. Dad's companion poem. Elimination of a picture and its subject, called The Feller's Masterstroke. Oh boy. God, that's... I can't read all that right now. 12, that's 6, 'tis more. Perhaps exact, that's gone before. All right. Where are we? Huh. Okay, interesting. That's it? That's all you got? Okay, I'll show you some weird ones I like. Cy Twombly. You guys are going to love this. Cy Twombly was an American painter, sculptor, and photographer. Was he crazy or not? I thought he was. I assumed he was. Was Cy Twombly mentally ill? Huh. That's interesting. I actually assumed he was. And you'll see why. Let's see. Cy Twombly. I really honestly thought he was. Look at that. There's this exhibit in at the Manil in Houston. It's like its own building with just Cy Twombly. And there's this one painting. Let's see if I can find it. It is called... Oh, I see. Cy Twombly. Shores of... No. What is it called? It's Troy? Something about Troy? Yeah, it's this one. That's just part of it. No. Where is it? It's this one right here. Ilium? Like the shores of Ilium or something? It's definitely this. No, it can't be that. What was that one called? Cy Twombly Manil. Yeah, they have a picture of it here. It's this one right here. That's like, it's like this long wall. And that's that entire painting. It's crazy. Except. Yeah, you can see how
The
big it
Mignol
is.
Collection Cy Twombly Gallery is the only permanent retrospective of the American artist's work, bringing together.
Okay, I do not want to hear that. Just show us the paintings. Look at that thing. What is that piece called? I mean, look at this. What the hell? I wish I could get a bigger picture of it. It just like has little weird scribbles and stuff and scratches. I couldn't even think of a name for it. House paint, graphite, colored pencil, and crayon on canvas. If you came over to my house and I had a painting that looked like that on my wall, and I was like, yeah, I painted that, wouldn't you be like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Wouldn't you? You'd be like, yeah, okay, buddy, sure, cool. That's real nice. That's so weird, man. And then you got these ones too. They're just like, they almost look like giant chalkboards with like chalk on it, but I think it's paint. Cy Twombly scribbles. I don't know what they're called. Blackboard. $70 million. I mean, I've seen these things in person. Like, so it's not like, well, you can't really tell from the picture. It's like, no, I've seen it in person. I don't get it. Like, what is the, why is that so... Let's see what people say about it. I'm curious. What is so great about Cy Twombly scribbles? Okay, here you go. Ready? It captures complex, almost classical sensations of desire, time, and decay through a seemingly effortless yet deeply considered scribbled technique that mimics primal expression. A new type of calligraphy. His work explores the act of writing rather than the contents of words. Oh man, I wish I had brought it over. I was sitting next to Kais on the couch today, and he had like a notebook out and a marker. And I was just watching him. He was just like drawing. And he was making this really like, you know, detailed like drawing that like connected back on itself. You know, and it was like, I don't have a pen. Well, I have a pen now, but I don't have any paper. I have a box. I'm about to make some art, y'all. It was like this. Let me give you an idea of what it looked like. It looked like that. Can you see it? Let me look at the... do you see how I represent the act of writing without content? And the act of... I represent the act of drawing without content. Without... I will now demonstrate the act of writing without content. Oh, this is a good one. Wait. Oh, what was I? Oh, yeah, that's right. I call this one John Hancock. John Hancock II. You think I can get 40, 50 million for that? Oh, you know what though? I did a lot of mark making, but not a lot of erasure. I need to work on that. Despite appearing random or childish, his scribbles are often highly structured and intentionally layered. His scribbles often referencing classical mythology. Hey man, if you like it, you like it, you know? Because some of this I do like. Oh shit. What did Cy Twombly know about the moon landing? Are you telling me this is a piece of artwork? I should have brought over the one Seneca made the other, that artwork she made where she listed out all her favorite cat names. I should frame that. Twombly's engagement with Greek and Roman antiquity was rich and various. He was a reader of ancient texts and a student of mythology, poetry, and philosophy. As an artist, he followed in the footsteps of famous predecessors whose creative dialogues with antiquity conditioned his own. Poetry. It's the act of writing poetry without the content. What does it say? What the fuck? Drifting in and out of legibility, Twombly's work comes across as elusive, private, and coded, but it also invites the viewer to engage freely and imaginatively, to search for meaning among the scattered signs and gestures. And the temptation is strong, because the world evoked in fragmentary lines by early lyric poets such as Sappho and Archilochus is not coldly remote, but alive with urgent passions and desires. It might even be said that this poetic world of the ancients gave Twombly the space to express his own fluid sexuality, however indirectly and ambiguously. I'm gonna do a little experiment. I'm gonna do a little experiment. I'm gonna take some pictures of my art. Can't see it very well. Okay. I'm going to take some pictures of my art. Oh, I see what the problem is. My camera is like extremely dirty. There we go. Alright, I'm going to send these to my computer. My computer. Okay. Okay, let me... Oh, okay. Got my ChatGPT up. Come on, computer. Okay. I'll have to text it to myself because I don't have my Wi-Fi on. So I can't airdrop it. Because I have a hardwire connection to the internet. Because I'm cool. You have some Cy Twombly work in your schoolroom? you got Got a couple Cy Twombleys in the family. All right, what's going on here? Come on. Oh, there we go. Maybe I'll switch to Wi-Fi for a second. Okay. Hopefully that didn't interrupt the stream too much. All right. Let's see what we got here. I am going to upload my paintings. These are two of my masterworks. Please describe them in the following style. Be critical yet thoughtful. I don't even know what that means. All right, let's see what it does. Did it upload? Let me try that again. Browser doesn't oh, okay. I gotta change the file format here. Oh. Better yet. Better yet. Here we go. All right, here we go. I'm gonna throw these bad boys. Up here into Higgsfield. Let's see what it does. Okay, hold on one second. It's not letting. Oh, okay, hold on. I gotta export them. Export as, what do we want, a JPEG? And let me get the other, let me get the other one. Export as a JPEG. Okay. I'm gonna throw these bad boys into, I like calling things bad boys because I'm cool. Okay. I got my bad boys uploading. Turn these into a Cy Twombly inspired work. What should we do? Oil, tempera on textured canvas primed with house paint. Let's see what we got here. Let me give ChatGPT my originals. See what it thinks about those. All right, let's see what it says while my image is generating. There we go. These cardboard interventions resist the polished authority of conventional drawing, instead staging a kind of hesitant semiotic collapse, in which mark making hovers between language, diagram, and nervous discharge. Oh, shit. The nerves! The blue pin scratches seem less drawn than excavated, gestures arriving before thought has had time to organize them into stable symbols. I mean, it's not wrong. One sense is not composition in the traditional sense, but an argument with composition itself. The first work encloses its agitated center within a loose perimeter. as though the artists were attempting and failing to contain an interior turbulence. Valid. The swollen outer contour evokes a crude architectural boundary or psychic enclosure, while the jagged vertical forms inside threaten to splinter into competing identities: rune, numeral, body fragment, accidental letter form. Particularly striking is the dense knot of crossed lines near the lower left, where the hand appears to lose confidence in representation entirely and retreat into repetition, abrasion, cancellation. The cardboard support absorbs these marks with an almost humiliating indifference, flattening gesture into packaging material, and thereby intensifying the work's tension between grand expression, expressive ambition, and banal substrate. That's crazy. I didn't even tell it was cardboard. Okay, so that's this one, I guess. Yeah. And now we're talking about this guy. The second piece shifts from enclosure toward dispersion. Here the marks drift laterally across the surface like half-remembered notation or degraded transmission. Certain passages flirt with legibility, suggesting handwriting, equations, primitive mapping. But meaning continually slips away just as the eye begins to stabilize it. Unlike Cy Twombly's classical allusions, which hover around fragments of ancient lyricism, these inscriptions feel aggressively contemporary. The visual residue of over-communication, of thought breaking apart under the pressure of endless symbolic noise. The work's awkwardness is central to its effect. Wow, thanks, ChatGPT. Its refusal of refinement creates moments of accidental vulnerability that a more technically controlled image might suppress. What ultimately makes these drawings compelling is not mastery in any academic sense, but their exposure of the unstable threshold where private cognition becomes public mark. They oscillate between sincerity and parody, between the childlike and the cryptographic. One could dismiss them as careless scribbles, yet doing so would ignore the peculiar psychological density they accumulate through hesitation, correction, and incompletion. They do not present meaning so much as the wreckage left behind by the attempt to produce it. Oh, man. Okay, I got one more then. Let's see. Okay, so now here's my AI assisted version. But be objective and invoke any styles you see relevant. All right, here we go. So this is what the AI came up with when I gave it my definitely a work of art here. This work expands the tentative vocabulary of the earlier cardboard studies into something more deliberate and materially resolved. Yet it retains the unstable immediacy that made those sketches compelling. Hold on, how do I reference an image? There we go. Make the image more schizophrenic. I wonder if it's going to let me do that. It's going to be like, you may not use these terms. No, it might let me. We'll see. Okay. Executed in restricted palette of ultramarine and off-white, the composition oscillates between drawing and painting, notation and eraser, structure and collapse. Thick blue contour lines carved through a weather... Okay, it's just describing it. Here we go. The sensual form resists fixed interpretation. It can be read alternately as a distorted vessel, a fragmented body, or an architectural enclosure, or a calligraphic sign enlarged beyond recognition. In this ambiguity, the work recalls aspects of Cy Twombly's late paintings. Look at this. But there's also echoes of art brut and post-war abstraction. Jean Dubuffet, I don't know, raw materiality, Antony Tapier's scarred surfaces, even the automatic mark-making associated with Henri Michaud's ink works. Yet, unlike the manic density often found in art brut, this composition preserves substantial negative space. I mean, dude, art critics are, like, irrelevant. Okay, I got one more. So here's the next version. I said make it more schizophrenic. Interpret the artist's state of mind. So here's the image. Look, it says voices. Watching eyes. Okay, if you came over to my house and I had that on my wall. Oh man. It's actually kind of cool looking. The addition of explicit language dramatically alters the psychological atmosphere of the piece. Where the earlier version maintained ambiguity through near illegible script and open compositional space, this iteration pushes toward cognitive overload. The compulsive repetition of certain words also suggests an anxious feedback loop where language ceases to communicate outwardly and instead becomes a self-reinforcing internal echo. Ultimately, the state of mind suggested here is one of heightened perceptual sensitivity, pushed to the edge of overload. How much do you think this painting could be worth? $2,500, guys. What if I told you it was an undiscovered Cy Twombly that I had verified, but not public yet? Come on, just give me the answer. Damn. Where's the answer? Anywhere from hundreds of thousands to many millions of dollars. What do you think, guys? Think I can get a few $1 million for that one? I should just have it right like Cy Twombly on the bottom. That's funny. What happened to my... Okay, I'll show you one more thing. I think his name is Alex Gray. It's kind of interesting. I'm not really into psychedelic stuff, but I don't know if you've ever seen Alex Gray's stuff. I'm pretty sure this guy might have done a few drugs. I have a hunch. Oh, but nobody thinks this guy's crazy. Alex Gray. Vajrayana practitioner. What is Vajrayana? Diamond vehicle or thunderbolt vehicle. Secret mantra vehicle. This sounds like some Power Ranger stuff. A Buddhist tradition that emphasizes esoteric practices and rituals aimed at rapid spiritual awakening. Esoteric transmission passed directly from teacher to student through initiation ceremonies. Jeez. It's just crazy how much stuff there is in this world. The Vajra is a mythical weapon associated with Indra that was said to be indestructible and unbreakable like a diamond and extremely powerful like a thunderbolt. Thus the term is variously translated as diamond vehicle, thunderbolt vehicle, indestructible vehicle. That's so weird. What's the teaching? Give me the secrets, man. Proto-tantric material. Associated with vastly powerful beings like Avalokiteshvara. I don't think I said that right. Om Mani Padme Hum. The 6-syllable Sanskrit mantra particularly associated with the four-armed Shadakshari form of Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva of compassion. Bodhisattva is a person who has attained or is striving towards Bodhi, awakening or enlightenment, or Buddhahood. Forgoes or delays personal nirvana in order to compassionately help others. That's nice of them. Dude, it's just like crazy, right? There's so much Buddhist stuff. That's just Japanese Obaku Zen Buddhist. One of the 3 main schools of Zen Buddhism. Soto and Rinzai. Soto. The Japanese line of the Chinese Caodong school, which was founded during the Tang Dynasty. It emphasizes shikantaza, meditation with no objects, anchors, or content. Jeez. Silent elimination. Necessary in the degenerate age of the Dharma, or Mappo. That's crazy. The Buddhist accounts of longu dure history and temporal cosmology always assume a cyclical pattern of virtue and decline. Detail of sculpted railing. What is going on here? Look at this guy in the center. He's got 2 legs. And what is that in the middle? What the hell? The Chapel of Sacred Mirrors. Trans-denominational church. To build a contemporary chapel as a sanctuary for spiritual renewal through contemplation of transformative art. But, like, what is it that you're supposed to get from... Oh, my God. Hieronymus Bosch again. William Blake? What is happening? Works by painters such as Pablo Amaringo. What's this guy about? Looks like a World War II vet. That looks like the guy. Looks like a guy I'd see at like Walmart on a Tuesday afternoon. Ayahuasca. I see. He's doing some ayahuasca stuff. Ayahuasca. Ernst Fuchs. What's this guy doing? Fantastic realism. Austrian movement similar to surrealism. Vienna School of Fantastic Realism. Let's see what they look like. That looks crazy. Moses and the burning bush. That is pretty insane looking. That is like actually pretty crazy. Look at this guy. Hey guys, I'm gonna take some ayahuasca. You wanna join me? He's got this little ayahuasca cup. You guys see the birds too, or is that just me? I haven't even taken the ayahuasca yet. That's my secret. Just gonna take some notes here. Okay, first sip. Slightly bitter. Starting to feel some effects. There's a flower growing under my arm and some birds flying around. I'm starting to see the planet Neptune and a giant sweet gum ball next to my head. You know, I feel like my friend saw that on his Ring doorbell yesterday. I don't know what's going on there. Whoa. That is weird. Ew. The temptation of Saint Anthony. What was the temptation? Come on. Temptation of Saint Anthony. What was he tempted about? How was he tempted? Tormented by demons and temptations, including lust, gold, and violence. How was he tempted with these things? While meditating in an abandoned tomb, first mistake, St. Anthony was attacked by demons and beasts. I feel like he walked into a bear cave, leaving him with immense suffering. He experienced visions that tried to lure him away from his devotion, such as visions of seductive women or visions of great wealth. Okay. That's weird. Madonna with flower wreath. Broccoli plant. God said, "Do not eat from the fruit of the tree of broccoli, or you shall surely get your vitamin C." Ooh. That guy is looking weird. Autumn breeze. Ah, yes. That's what I think of when I think of an autumn breeze. I think of a giant phallic broccoli. There's some Alex Gray. Meditating in the 15th dimension. Whoa. H.R. Geiger? Wait, what? H.R. Geiger was in that school? Really? Triumph of the Unicorn. Jeez, that is intense. That is some weird stuff, dude. What is that? What is that? I want to know more about that painting. A masterpiece that epitomizes Ernst Fuchs' intricate style and thematic depth. The work merges religious iconography with mythical elements, presenting the unicorn as a symbol of purity and transcendence. Yes, that I get that vibe from this. Look at that thing's face. The juxtaposition of spiritual and fantastical motifs invites viewers to reflect on the tension between the sacred and the imaginary. offers a commentary on the duality of human experience, suggesting the struggle for spiritual enlightenment in a tumultuous world. I'm just getting tumultuous from this. That is some... What is that? Man wins argument with wife by placing a bird upon his head. She's like, I'm going to put this book into this butter until you take that bird off your head. I'll never take the bird off my head. Not until you put down those long green beans. I've set the table for two. Why are we sitting on the other side of the table? What is this? Wait. Some Jewish Passover stuff. A bird isn't passing over your hair. Butterfly and blossom. Yo. Okay. That is pretty weird. The visionary origin. Oh, he's got a mushroom. I get it. Oh, look, his little demon dancing on the mushroom. He, he, he. Now you will be punished with self-consciousness. Jeez, these guys like to... You know what I'm talking about. Female nude and the bird of paradise. What's that bird doing? What's he doing over there? This guy again. What is this? Imagine if that was your birthday cake. Oh, what the hell is this? I liked, what was that thing earlier? Oh, H.R. Geiger. Yeah, what was up with that? It didn't say anything about him, though. Is that how you spell Geiger? H.R. Geiger. A Swiss artist, best known for his airbrushed images that blend human physiques with machines, an art style known as biomechanical. Birth machine. Is that a painting or a sculpture? It looks like it's actually metal. That is weird. It's like a gun. That's crazy. Oh, I didn't know he died. Entrance to Geiger Bar. Imagine what his house was like. Ibanez H.R. Geiger. That's crazy looking. Killer Condom. An action comedy horror. In seedy parts of New York City, gay NYPD detective Luigi Macaroni is investigating a series of bizarre attacks at the Hotel Quickie in which male guests have all had their penises mysteriously bitten off. While at the hotel, he enlists the services of a gigolo named Billy and invites him up to a crime scene. A carnivorous living condom interrupts them and bites off Macaroni's right testicle. What? Species. H.R. Geiger's nightmarish works. Okay, that's a little... I think this guy had a weird fascination with penises, if you know what I mean. The black eggplant-shaped head. Uh-huh, yeah. Yeah, we're not fooled. We are not fooled. The xenomorph is like Francisco Goya's Saturn from Saturn devouring his sun. That is an insane painting, too. Yeah, there you go. Oops, what happened? Look at those butts. What the hell? What is even happening here? They only have one leg. This guy was on another level with his... Dude, that is crazy. What? It was Salvador Dali. Okay. Geiger even managed to gain the attention of Salvador Dali, who Geiger cited as an influence, was introduced to his work through a mutual friend. It was Dali who showed Geiger's work to the Chilean director Alejandro Jodorowsky when the latter was hoping to cast the famed surrealist in his ambitious adaptation of Frank Herbert's classic sci-fi novel Dune. Jodorowsky enlisted Geiger to help with the concept art for Dune. Weird. Oh, that's so interesting. They were making the movie Alien. Then the guy saw his artwork, and then that became the style. It's just so interesting. What is that? Wait, what is this? The Geiger bars. For the bar in Gruyere, part of the renovated medieval chateau that houses the H.R. Geiger Museum, the artist incorporated his own designs of spine-like alien skeletons into the stonework. At the tables and counters, Geiger placed his Harkonnen chairs, black aluminum thrones originally designed for Jodorowsky's Lost Dune film back in the 1970s. The Harkonnen chairs. Those look pretty insane. Dude, that place looks crazy. The art practice Dr. Seuss kept hidden from the world. That looks like a whole nother rabbit hole. Okay. Well, I'm gonna try to go to sleep now. Hope you have some sweet dreams, everybody. hold on. How about some eye bleach? Rainbows. Look at those beautiful rainbows. There you go. Just to kind of help you get that H.R. Geiger madness out of your mind. Okay, well, that was quite disappointing with the UFO files, although I don't know what I expected. I kind of assumed that's pretty much what it was going to be. It was just a bunch of bullshit that's pretty much already public. So... yeah, not much there. Okay, everybody. I'm going to call it a night. I'll see you what's today, Friday? I'll see you tomorrow. And, yeah. Have a good night, everyone. See ya.